All right, Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 13. Okay. Um, this episode was actually good in my opinion. Okay, I probably give it a little 3.5 out of 5. Okay, that's my rating for it. But anyways, let's get into it. Okay. So the episode starts off with Shamia donating some of her daughter's items for, this trip to Grenada, and I feel like that's like a real valuable lesson that you could teach a child. you know what is this on my screen? Hold on, let me check this. Hold on. I don't know. Anyways, we just gonna keep rolling with it. So so yeah, they're donating stuff, right? Kelly comes over. Okay, they're going through all the stuff that everybody's donating. Cynthia donated a whole bunch of shit, and then here comes Britt with like this one box, and the box is as empty as her head. The box got a couple napkins in there or some shit. And like, girl, this is for a good cause. Like, what are you doing, Britt? Like, this is not a good look. And not for nothing, I heard low key that like when the producers give you like this is beyond a bad edit, but like when the producers like edit you like this, yeah, you on your way out. I don't see Britt coming back next season. I will be honestly surprised if Britt comes back next season. Um, in regards to Kenya, like let's bring it back to Kenya. Let's bring Kenya into this. Um, that girl, people keep saying she's fired, she's fired, she's fired. Like, baby, she's suspended. Like, have y'all never heard of being suspended from your job? Like, girl, she is suspended. Kenya is suspended. Now, she might get fired. Who knows? In my eyes, she's suspended. I haven't heard no formal report of her being fired, so we just gonna keep the ball rolling. Like wish for hope, and hopefully convince hope that Kenya comes back next season. But Britt, I don't see it. I don't see it for her. Anyways, so Britt in this empty ass box. Okay, like girl, how disrespectful, how rude. Like Britt, I want to know who Britt it knows behind the scenes. Okay, that got her onto this show, because that has to be the case. That has to be the case because did anybody check her credibilities? Like her credibility of being a housewife? Like I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, so Portia and Drew meet up at this tea place. I'm assuming. I don't know if that was all they served, but they had tea in front of them. So Portia mentions that Drew's wig wasn't from Go Naked Hair. Okay, Drew, however, said that her wig was from Go Naked Hair. I don't know why Portia's concerned with the wig being from Go Naked Hair or whatnot, because like I thought Drew was fired. I don't know where that concern came from, but maybe this is while Drew was still employed by Go Naked Hair. I don't know. She mentions, so Portia says that it's a mixture of hair. Apparently, I don't know. And something else that I don't know about, I just didn't know how to feel about Drew's wig. It was very, it gave 2006 like dated a little bit. Like it didn't look bad, but I wasn't in love with it. But if she likes it, I love it. Anyways, Portia brings up Drew allegedly dating a guy named Black. Okay. And like I felt like that was so messy on Portia's behalf because that's not her business. Like I hate when people bring up like something that somebody didn't bring up themselves. Get what I'm saying? Like why that wasn't her business to bring up. Like Portia, what are you doing? So um let me see Portia's girl back to the tea. Okay, so I'm watching the little show. I'm watching this and Portia's stirring her cup. Like did she even take a sip out of it? I don't know if anybody noticed this. I don't know. So yeah. Drew throws it back into Portia's face and says that she's allegedly dating Future. Now, it could be Future. Maybe she said Future. I'm convinced that she said Future because if y'all remember from like the clips of the season, like the season clips or whatever, they said Future's name in the clips. Maybe I'm imagining this. I don't know. But I remember there was a clip where Drew was like, "Yeah, you dating Future or some shit like that," and you heard his name. Now that the show's airing, they're bleeping out the word Future, but I'm assuming that's who they were talking about. That's who Drew brought up, and Portia denies it. Girl, Portia's word is not. You can't take her word for anything. Her and Future probably hooked up. I wouldn't be surprised if you told me that Future and Portia hooked up. I'd be like, of course, of course. Like, like what the hell. Anyways, let me see, because I did take notes. Anyways, so the whole conversation, I've noticed that Portia was more engaged in this conversation that she was having with Drew. I mean, she still ended up walking off like she always does, but she was more engaged in this conversation with Drew than she was with, her conversation with her best friend Shamia. I noticed that. Like, there was no moving of the silverware. There was no yawning. I think the reason why Drew picked out the tea place was because there's no food, because we all know that if there's food in front of her face, Portia is going to chomp down on it. Okay, so yeah, there's no like eating food while she was talking. Like, Portia was engaged in this conversation. Okay. I leave that at that. So Drew basically says Portia is throwing her misguided anger onto her, and I could see that. Portia, I'm not gonna say Portia has no storyline, but Portia, she can't talk about her actual life for some reason. I don't think she has a gag order when it comes to Simon. Like, Portia is deliberately not talking about her real life and, like, beefing with Drew, because that's just the easy thing to do. Okay, I guess Drew's easy to pick on, so they thought. Okay, as we seen at the end of this episode, no ma'am. So yeah, I'm like, that's whack as hell, and that's exactly what Portia is doing, picking on Drew because she refuses to talk about her real life. She can't film in her house. She can't talk about her real life for some reason. Yeah, Portia, this comeback was very lackluster. It was giving I needed a job. Like, it's giving that bad. Okay. Anyways, Portia is she tried to say that her and Drew were in the same boat. She said the lady who's going through a divorce, and this is like, somewhat of, like basically what she said. She said Drew's going through a divorce and she's throwing it back on me that, like, I'm going through a divorce and we in the same boat. No, Portia, I'm not in the same fucking boat, because baby, you have egg on your face. Drew doesn't. I mean, I don't know all the history behind Drew and Ralph. I know Ralph took a trip to Tampa. That was like the big, issue in their marriage recently. Was that recently? That was season 13. I don't know. But, like, Portia, you have egg on your face. You have egg on your face. Drew is talking about her divorce because she can. Drew is filming in her house because she can. Hello. And did y'all catch that little thing that Portia said about how people going through a divorce could date? You would know, Portia. Anyways, yeah, it's like, I don't know, like, girl, y'all are not in the same boat. Like, yes, you guys are both going through a divorce. So sorry to hear that, but, like, it's different, mama. It's different. Let me see. So we go to Kelly, right? Next scene, we at Kelly's house. Okay, Kelly is in the house full of girls. Like, she is a girl mom down. Even the dog is a girl. Love it down. So they're in her room and she's packing for her trip. Okay, and she basically tells the girls, like, hey, I'm gonna miss your first day of school because I'm going on this trip. Okay, and I've seen a lot of people try to, like, give Kelly flack for that, like, trying to call her a bad mom because, like, she gonna miss the first day of school. I mean, she gotta work. Kelly gotta work. That she's working. She's not missing the first day of school. Yes, she's going on vacation, but she's working. Get what I'm saying? Like, that's her job. So, like, life just doesn't always like go perfectly like that. Get what I'm saying? Like, you know, you got prior engagements and you got to miss certain things. Like, you know, it is what it is. However, what I will say is that Kelly, um, the little girl, and the kids always reveal, you know, what the fuck's really going down, because the little girl said, "Oh, you haven't even taken us back to school shopping." I said, "What?" I was like, "Kelly, now you knew when those kids were going back to school since before the trip, I'm sure." Like, what do you mean the kids ain't got no back to school clothes? Like, who's gonna take them back to school shopping? Like, I feel like, Kelly, you could have at least took the babies back to school shopping. That's just me. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, so they're talking about an Uncle Lamont upstairs. They're like, "Who's gonna take us to school?" The kids don't know nothing. They're like, "Girl, she just sprung this news onto them in front of these cameras." Okay, they're like, "Can Uncle Lamont take us to school?" This, that, and the third. Uncle Lamont, Uncle Lamont. I'm like, "Okay, Uncle Lamont." Girl, Kelly goes downstairs, leaves the girls upstairs. She goes downstairs, and Uncle Lamont is in the kitchen. I'm like, "What the fuck?" Okay, so Uncle Lamont is not the girl's actual uncle, from what I'm understanding. Uncle Lamont is Kelly's publicist. Okay, and she's giving him the task of taking the girls to school. And I'm like, what kind of shit is this? That's an assistant's job. From, like, maybe I'm not, you know, I'm ignorant to this. Okay, like, I don't know about this. Like, you know, but I didn't think that was a publicist's job. Get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I thought that's something the assistant handles, okay? Like taking the girls to school, getting you a coffee the way you like it. You know, shit like that. Like, I don't know. Booking reservations, okay? What the fuck? Now he got to take your kids to school, and they got to go to 3 different schools, like 7 a.m.? Yeah, I hope he's getting paid for that and not getting paid in exposure, okay? Like, you know, the girls usually do. But let me get out his business real quick. um Kelly's ex-husband, okay? So Mark, no, Uncle Lamont says that he talked to Kelly's ex-husband. It was basically like, "Yo, what the fuck you're doing? You know, what the fuck are you doing? What you're doing is not right," basically, you know, like, you know, and like the Kelly's ex-husband wants to be a deadbeat going deadbeat. It's not right, okay, and it's not okay. um you know, just showing his true colors, I guess. Like, Mark, like, how the fuck, like, you really, like, I don't know, girl. I don't know. That's real trash. Anyways, so next scene, okay, they're in the airport, and you know, everybody's dressed to the nines, and I'm just wondering, like, how is that even comfortable? You're gonna take a long ass flight. They do this every season, but like, I've always wondered, like, how is that comfortable? Like, y'all are dressed in heels and makeup down and like wigs on. Like, y'all are taking a flight. I don't know. It's like y'all can still be cute, but like, y'all ain't gotta do all this. But if they like it, I love it. So Angela shows up and she's wearing Balmain. Okay, you wouldn't know that she was wearing Balmain unless you're like a fashion like expert, aficionado, whatever, connoisseur. Okay, you wouldn't know that because but the average person wouldn't know that because like she ain't had like the big ass logo, okay, covered all over her body. Hello, Shamia. Any- Anyways, that's how I like when people wear designer. Like, I'm not really a fan of designer myself because, not for nothing, these people wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire, especially us. But that's besides the point. Anyways, so the camera goes to Angela. She's wearing Balmain, like a little, I think it was a blazer, the fucking sports bra, and like some pants, some leggings. It was like the outfit was questionable. And then the camera pans down and she's wearing sneakers. Like, maybe it's the Chicago in her. I don't know. I don't know. Because one thing Chicago bitches gonna do is wear sneakers with shit. I don't know. No shade to Chicago bitches. Love y'all. Love y'all. I gotta come see the Windy City. Don't jump me. Don't jump me. Anyways. Um Phaedra. So Phaedra calls Angela an old looking young woman. I'm confused on this for many reasons because Phaedra, you had to go and get your, like, I feel like once you went and got your face yoinked and pulled back and injected and pumped with whatever the fuck, I feel like you cannot talk on anybody else's appearance. You can't. You can't. You lost. Like, bitch, like the fuck. And granted, Angela has had some work done too, but I don't think she's out here talking about anybody else's appearance like that, except from that one time she called Shamia Flavor Flav, but like that was because Shamia was dressed as Flavor Flav. But back to what I was saying, okay, Phaedra, like, what are you doing? Do you not remember how you came onto the show looking? And not saying she looked bad, but you wasn't giving youthful, okay? you weren't exactly giving youthful either. You know what I'm saying? And I think you came onto the show. It's been rumored Angela's 43. I don't know. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. But yeah, you came onto the show and you're probably younger than how younger than Angela is when you came onto the show. You're younger than 43, I think, because you're like 50 something. Somebody do the math. Maybe I'm correct. But yeah, you weren't looking like a spring chicken either, baby. And that's okay. That's okay to look your age. It's okay. You get what I'm saying? You didn't look bad either, but like you ain't got your face, snatched, and now you think you could talk about other people's faces. No, mama. Anyways, I don't think anybody could talk about anybody's faces, but like it's like, come on, like, girl, Phaedra, here she comes with the hating ass energy. And then I was also confused on why she said she was an old looking young woman, because like it's rumored that she's 43. Nobody on this cast is young. That's what I'm trying to get. Like, all y'all are, early 40s to late 40s. Phaedra, you're 50. Like, you're probably like the second oldest there, after Cynthia. And that y'all all look great. Y'all all look great. So what the fuck are we going on about, Phaedra? Like, that's the shit I just don't understand. I don't know. So they get to Grenada, and Shamia has no luggage. Oh Lord, what Beyonce said? She said it's better to get there than to have no luggage or something like that. Y'all remember that clip when the girl was I guess she had to go somewhere. I don't know. And they're talking about luggage. If y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about, let me know. But anyways, so yeah, she ain't got no luggage, but she ended up having like an emergency outfit in her carry-on, and I just feel like that was smart of her to do. She did have like two, like a carry-on and then like a rolling bag, like a regular suitcase. And yeah, I was confused. I'm like, what the fuck you mean you ain't got no luggage? But like maybe it's like, oh, she had like a specific outfit that she planned to wear in one of the other bags that she bought. And that's the thing with bringing a whole bunch of bags on a trip. Me personally, I just don't like to overwhelm myself with a lot of shit. That's I don't know what I mean. A couple years ago, I would have I would understand why you'd bring a whole bunch of shit, but like now it's like I like to travel light. I don't like to bring a lot of shit with me, just specifically for that reason. Okay, shit gets lost. Okay, who knows if you're gonna get robbed? Who knows if they're digging through your shit? At the airport. Who knows? I just don't like bringing a lot of shit with me. And these ladies, they bring like 7, 6, 8 bags on, these trips. And I'm like, how long are these trips? They're like 2 weeks, maybe 3. They can't be 3 weeks. I don't think so, but whatever. Anyways. So Phaedra calls Drew a child actress. Okay, Phaedra was going down the list and she was like, oh, I can't, wait to mingle with these ladies. She calls Drew a child actress. I hollered at that because I'm like, what? Like, see, Phaedra says the stupidest shit sometimes. And granted, like, yeah, she was on That's So Raven. But I wouldn't call Drew a child actress. I don't know. Would y'all call Drew a child actress? I don't know. So they get to the resort, right? And we got to deal with the room situation, okay? So, like any other trip, They got to argue and fuss about rooms and shit like that. They didn't do too much arguing and fussing this time, but they find out that they have to share rooms. Okay, which I was like, ooh, recession indicator. Anyway, anyways, because the past trips, if y'all remember any of their past trips, I mean, maybe one or two of them had to share a room, like, but that wasn't like a like something that happened often. But they had to share rooms this trip, and they've I don't think that I remember them ever having to share a room ever on their past trips. But times is tough, I guess. Drew and Cynthia's room, okay, they got one full size bed, okay, and they got two twin size beds in the other room, which I found so stupid because I feel like, did the resort not know they were coming over? Like, I feel like that's something that could have been fixed, rectified or something like that. I don't know. Like, you knew these ladies were coming over, but I feel like they probably do this just for the show. But yeah, y'all knew these ladies were coming over and they had to share rooms. Why not just take the twin size beds out and put a full queen size bed in there? Like, get what I'm saying? Like, that only makes sense to me. But anyway, so Drew and Cynthia, they play, what's it? That's not tug of war. They arm wrestle for, like, the full size bed. But, like, once they're in the room, Drew was like, hey, I don't feel right, giving you, like, the twin size bed. And I'm like, you better give Cynthia that full size bed. Because not only Cynthia a veteran, okay? Cynthia is tall as shit. Cynthia is, like, an Amazonian queen. Like, give her the full size bed. She deserves it. Okay. And it had a view. Okay. That's mother. That's godmother. Cynthia. Okay. Okay. But yeah. If I was Drew, I would have just pushed the twin beds together. But like, I feel like the bed thing was stupid. It was pretty stupid. I don't know. So next scene, okay, Portia and this chef, okay, so there's a chef that's in like the resort or whatever where they're staring out, and Portia is all up in this chef's business, talking about, how to make this sauce or whatever. Like, Portia, get out this man's face. Like, this shit was so hilarious. She's flirting with this man, and I'm like, oh girl, okay, go ahead. One thing Portia love to do is eat. She's gonna eat. She get it from her mama. Okay, if y'all remember, Miss Diane was eating a large pizza in that man bed. Oh God. Anyways, Cynthia and Drew were talking, right? And Loki forgot what they were talking about. But Cynthia brings up that she's dating a man named what was his name, child? Amsterdam. His name is Amsterdam. And Amsterdam looks very, I don't know if he's from Atlanta, but he looks very Atlanta, if you know what I mean. But if she like it, I love it. Cynthia, I love it. She's an equal opportunity lover, I guess. And I love people that don't give up on love. Because Cynthia Bailey, she's been what married? Did she marry Leon? I don't know. She's with Leon. She was with Peter, and then after Peter came Mike. Now she's with Amsterdam. Like, Cynthia never gives up on love, and I love people like that, and I aspire to be like that someday. Okay, but yeah, go on, Cynthia. Cynthia lives her best life. I love Cynthia. I don't know, Cynthia in the past seasons. I don't know. She ain't had a backbone. I will say that. But Cynthia, for the most part, she pretty cool. I like Cynthia as, like, the friend of the show. It's very fitting for her. Let me see. They go down to dinner, right? Everybody's dressed. Everybody looked great. I don't have any complaints. Okay. Even Cynthia, not Cynthia, even Shamia, she looked great. She didn't look tacky as she has been looking. 10s across the board. Anyways, Drew, okay, so they bring up the whole Shamia and Drew beef, whatever, and let me see something. Let me check my notes. So they bring up the whole Drew and Cynthia beef. Drew and Shamia, my bad. They bring up the Drew and Shamia beef, right? And Drew, they were like basically like, Drew, Shamia took offense because you called her a lapdog. And then Drew was like, hey, a hit dog no holler. And then Shamia like Shamia popped off, okay? And then like, I don't know if y'all peeped this, but like y'all gotta watch Kelly in moments like these where everybody's, like they're bickering, because Kelly likes to say some slick shit amongst all the chaos. Kelly was like, "Oh yeah, you gotta watch." Now, if that she said something along the lines of, "Hey, if that bitch beats your ass, that's gonna be your fault," something like that. And I'm like, Kelly, what the fuck? Like, girl, Kelly, I don't know. I don't know. Like, the fuck? This has nothing to do with you, Kelly. Like, shut the fuck up. Anyways, so as they're arguing, okay, Angela says that she expects intimate conversations to be kept between, the people who had the intimate conversation. And I'm like, Angela, what are you talking about? Because if I remember correctly, a couple episodes ago, you actually went and told Portia about how Shamia told you that she didn't think Portia was being a good friend to her. Y'all remember they were having that conversation like that didn't get aired. It was a flashback, okay? But like they were having a conversation at a bar, and Drew, Shamia and Angela, they were talking, and she brought that up. She brought it right back to Portia. So I'm like, you can't say that, Angela, because you brought Shamia's intimate conversation, what she said, back to Portia. Like, hello. Anyways, so Kelly goes and says that Drew has an issue with everybody except Cynthia. And I'm like, how? How? Like, does she have a problem with you? Like, I'm going down the list. I'm like, okay. Okay, Portia, she got a problem with, because Portia keep lying on her. Okay, rightfully so. They got they got an issue. Get what I'm saying? Of course. So, and then she got a problem with Shamia, and she don't really got a problem with Shamia. Shamia's only beefing with Drew because of Portia. Okay. Portia would never do something like that for Shamia. That's the gag, okay? Portia would never beef with somebody because of Shamia. Because Shamia don't like him. Shamia is that type of friend like, hey, my friend don't like you, I don't like you. Girl, what the fuck? See, I love that, but at the same time, it makes no sense. We're adults here. Now, if my friend is beefing with somebody else over something stupid, like, I don't know, like a bill or something at a restaurant, or something stupid like that, like, I'm not going to take on her beef as my beef. But like, if it's something serious, then yeah, I'm gonna take on her beef as my, because bitch, you did her wrong and you might do me wrong. Like, but like, shit like that is stupid. Like, girl, why are you really beefing with this girl? You ain't got no problem with this girl. Anyways, Portia, of course, doesn't realize how her and Shamia meeting with Ralph was inappropriate. Okay, Portia keeps bringing up how Drew worked with Dennis. Drew worked with Dennis. Drew worked with Dennis. Key word: work. Drew worked with Dennis on an album. You met with Ralph for no fucking reason. You and Shamia met with Ralph for no reason. There was no reason for that conversation. Like, it was so pointless. So pointless. And you could say that, oh, I didn't know that Ralph was gonna be there. Girl, you knew Ralph was gonna be there. You knew Ralph was gonna be there. Hello. That was stupid. Okay, like, girl, you and Shamia just like like, the fuck? Like, I just want y'all to think. Like, the hell? Anyways, so Portia somewhat apologizes for going off on Drew and saying that she was dating Dennis or whatnot, because she brings up Black again. And I'm like, girl, why are you bringing this man up? Drew hasn't brought this man up. Like, that's Drew's business to tell. But because you ain't got shit going on, you want to focus on somebody else's shit that's going on and try to make it a problem of your own. But like, girl, it's just not giving. It's not giving. Okay, and then not for nothing, I will say it over and over again. Dennis is a grown man. Dennis is going to fuck on whoever the fuck he wants to fuck on. You know this. You knew this from when you were pregnant. Back from before you got pregnant by the man. You knew this, Portia. Dennis is going to hunch on anything that, gives him, not anything gives him attention, but pretty much, Dennis is a dog. Like, and then that's not your business. Y'all not married. Dennis is grown. Only thing tying y'all together is that y'all got a baby together. But like at the same time, like he could do whatever the fuck he wants to do. Hello. Anyways, like maybe they still are fucking, but even then, if y'all not really exclusively going out together, then it really shouldn't matter to you. Unless like I don't know. Like her and this Dennis thing, like girl, you do not control his dick. I'm sorry. Let Dennis be Dennis, okay? And I don't know. I was about to say cut ties with him, but you can't even cut ties with him because you got a whole child with him. But at the same time, you do not control that man. Like Portia, let it go. You need to give it up. Anyways, so with all that being said, okay, the argument dies down, okay, and here comes Britt, her stupid ass, okay. Okay, she wanted a moment so bad. Here she comes talking about, oh, Phaedra, I just wanted to let you know that Apollo and his wife, was the wife invited? I don't know, but Apollo was invited to my event through my husband because they know each other. And Phaedra was like, girl, I don't give a fuck. Like, like, hello. I feel like Phaedra, I don't know. Y'all think Apollo and Phaedra still, if you were to tell me that Apollo and Phaedra are still, I wouldn't be surprised either. I would not be surprised. But yeah, that was the end of the episode. But next week's episode, we didn't really get that much of a sneak peek at next week's episode. I don't know. It looks like it's going to be a little boring, but they so far they're gonna call out Britt for her cheapness. Her they're gonna call out Britt for her bogus ass donation that she donated, that one box, okay? And then she had a nerve to say, oh yeah, I got somebody else bring the rest of the stuff. And I don't know if that man ever showed up. Did that man ever show up? I think we're gonna get down to it in the next episode. But anyways, that's all I got for this episode. Let me know what you guys thought, and we could talk about it down below. Stay tuned for any other I keep saying a lot, but stay tuned for my next videos. All right, 90 Day Fiance airs tonight too. I might put that review up, and yeah, so y'all have a good one. Like the video, comment, subscribe, drink your water, and have a good night.